and that shapes my perception as a consumer in Kenya.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I have to say there must be, there is truth to it. So
There is truth to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we need to start demanding, we need to start demanding accountability for these issues.
All right, and I think as the media, we'll continue trying to do our job.
Yeah, okay.
And
Sorry, I didn't
maybe
mean to.
No, that's fine. Trust
Yeah,
me,
okay.
we have seen worse.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had people come in, accuse, and throw all the blames at us.
Yeah.
But we will be following up on the stories that, as I said, investigations are being done, and we will be bringing the information right back to you and our other viewers. Now, moving on swiftly, I want us to take a look at this arid and semi-arid areas such as the Isiolo, Turkana, Garissa, Kajiado. These are areas that have been affected year in, year out when it comes to matters food security. If it's not floods, it's famine. And these are areas that suffer. But it's never a shock to the country because it's always almost the same problem, unfortunately, yes? Why is it that we never have a lasting solution? Do you think that maybe as Kenya we should have been prepared, or we should be prepared for this?
I think you're absolutely right. It's like we should be prepared. It's not new news that these areas are going to, are dry areas. It's been known for decades. So I think we need to, and that it sort of harks back to what I was saying earlier, is we need to look at explicit sort of programs, and instead of talking about national food security, which is difficult. Imagine that. And what is national food security when you have such a diverse country with so many different food needs and requirements and different sorts of landscapes? And exactly. So if we want to look at, we need to look at specific policies and programs in different areas. If we're looking in ASL areas, they're mostly pastoral communities. So what does food nutrition security look like in those areas, and what should government interventions be in order to ensure that these shocks don't come as a surprise, and it's not like we're going into this battle where we've had this unexpected enemy. This is an ongoing war, and it's like we need to now better prepare ourselves and actually implement like the policies and programs that we say that we will.
So it's all about the policies and the programs.
Yeah, and I think there's massive potential also at the moment, Nina, with devolution and with the role that counties now are able to play. Agriculture's devolved, a lot of people know this. There's huge potential for county governments and county administrations to really focus in on what their needs are and use their annual budgets in an effective and impactful way.
And I hear what you're saying. It's not something that the national government, it should go down to the county government too, so that it's better, or the county government is in a better position to be keen. All right. Now, as we are shutting this down, unfortunately, our interview is almost coming to an end. But very quickly, just maybe give us a short highlight on how you think food security, regardless the fact that it's under the Big Four agenda, we are talking about it right now, and what we're talking about is not even food security, we're talking about food insecurity. Yeah. So how is this going to affect the president's Big Four agenda? If not handled well?
Okay. Well, I think we could also look at that question the other way around, is how is the Big Four agenda going to affect food security?
There you go.
And I would say, I think we're just going to see more of the same, and that you and I could be sitting here again, sadly, in 5 years' time, maybe in 10 years' time, and potentially be having the same interview. And I think that's incredibly sad, because at the moment it hasn't been backed by political will and by budget to have meaningful impact on this issue.
What is done, sorry.
Unless
we will be talking about this in 5 years or 10 years, unless we do what?
Unless we start, unless we look, if we if we've looked at the policies and programs for the past decades, has been focused on a large scale or expanding a large scale commercial agriculture model. That approach to agriculture doesn't seem to be solving the problem because we've had it for decades now. So surely we must ask, how else can we reimagine farming in Kenya or resolving or fixing this problem of food nutrition security, okay? And it's like I said earlier, I think we need to look at policies and an approach which is focused more on feed thyself first. We first need to get to a point where 25% of the population are not chronically food insecure. And like I said, we're looking at family farming systems, local production and local supply, and really investing in smallholder farmers who are producing 75% of the food that we eat anyway, before we start chasing, trying to become, a large scale, commercial agriculture sort of machine.
All right. Yeah. And you are the project manager of the Route to Food initiative, Leila. So very quickly, what role are you playing? As Route to Food.
So Route to Food is a food rights initiative, Nina. So we are trying to advocate for policy implementation, policy development and implementation in sectors that impact food and nutrition security. So it's not only agriculture, we're looking at environment and health as well.
All right.
And I think we're really trying to lobby for a model of agriculture that is, ecological, that is sustainable, and that is socially inclusive.
All right.
That's really where we sit, and trying to connect this conversation of food security to the fact that, Kenyans do have a right to food, and that means that there's a certain, obligation on the government in order to be able to protect, promote, and fulfill that right.
Any recommendation or conclusion about all this that we've spoken about when it comes to food security and the agricultural sector?
I would say, I would say there's recommendations, immediate recommendations I could think of sort of this year is that I know that the Ministry of Agriculture has recently released an implementation framework for their food nutrition security policy, which was passed in 2012.
Yeah.
I think this is an excellent tool and an excellent knowledge resource for actually programs and projects with measurable outcomes that one could implement at county or at national level for food and nutrition security. So it's expanding across to health as well. And I really think that this framework needs to have budget backing and support from the government, and specifically because we're talking about the budget. In order to get this, rolled out, and not even rolled out, but at least have county administrations have this document in hand and be sensitized to it and have some sort of capacity building around it, and so that this document doesn't lie idle and end up becoming, the job of donor foundations to support its distribution around the country. It's because it's taken more than 5 years on the part of the food security team residing within the ministry to put this document together, and it really is very good. And I would strongly advocate that in the immediate term, that it gets some attention.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, that was Leila Libertrue, who's the project leader of Route to Food initiative. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And there you have it. There's no more information that we will be taking in when it comes to marches of food security. We have run out of time. A very good afternoon to you. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. That was Business Insight. My name is Nina Shibor.